Alrighty. Well, hey y'all. I still haven't came up with a good company name yet, but the more interviews I do, I have started nailing down my, I guess, a little elevator speech more than anything. So we provide comfort and control in your home. Our easy-to-use system prevents hot spots, cold spots, and thermostat arguments in your home by providing precise, custom temperature control in each room. Pretty short, but I kind of like things a little concise. I already have a tendency to ramble on and overshare, over talk anyway. So as concise as I can be, the better. So how do I create end user demand? I see three main ways. One of them is less of a method of creating user demand directly and more of how the messages will be spun, is to focus on comfort, on the emotions of enjoying your home, being comfortable in your home. But those two things kind of shown in two main ways is how I'd create user demand, is some kind of education and maybe some gamification. So education, if we put out a lot of resources on ways to more efficiently heat your home or cool your home, depending on if you're up north, down south, whatever, and the time of year. So for colder times, whether it's up north or whenever, space heaters, the wood burning stoves, when properly installed, things like that. And this can be for either way, but blinds and curtains, it kind of helps keep whatever temperature's outside, it helps keep it outside, and the inside temperature keeps it inside. For heat, well, for the cold temperatures in the house, but heat outside, window treatments, tintings, things like that is a big help as well. So if we share a lot of information on that, in addition to our air conditioning control system with those registers, then if people are looking up information for how to save money or save energy or make their home more comfortable, they're more likely to stumble upon us because they'll see stuff that's not necessarily just us pushing our product only, but it's bringing other value as well. So that kind of brings in some natural user demand, I guess. On the gamification, I hadn't figured out many, but the one I have thought so far that might work is some kind of contest every once in a while. I don't know if it's every quarter or what, but every once in a while I'll do a contest where people show a thermostat or a thermometer in a particular room, whichever room's their problem room, and show what the temperature is before using our system, and then after you install the system, see what the temperature is. And excuse me, sorry. I've been traveling a lot this week and I have not caught up on sleep. So show the temperature before you put the system in, and then again after the system, and whoever has the biggest differential, the biggest difference in time from before and after, would win whatever the contest is. Don't know what it would be to make it worth people's time, whether it's a gift card, if it's more systems, a t-shirt, something, I don't know. Something more than bragging rights. I want to actually give them something tangible. How does this differ on the web versus other channels? The web is probably going to be the primary, I'd say, lead generation, primary funnel, as it's talked about. Through social media, it's going to be a lot of information, interaction and information sharing. Maybe forums, something through the company website as well. And the biggest thing with these is that's how we're going to help educate. And then if we do go the route of gamification as well, that's how that's done. The other channels, it's just going to be things where it's just more of another offering, like something Home Depot or Lowe's like that. It's not going to have a whole lot of impact on the channel like that. It's just going to be there. Same with Amazon. It's kind of limited with what you can do there versus just throw it up. You kind of have to do your marketing, your lead generation elsewhere, your end user demand elsewhere, and lead them to those channels to purchase if they don't want to purchase on your website. But yeah. hard to answer the next question because this requires a lot of interaction to really build the demand, like I think seems to be the path that will be most productive. So it's going to take a little bit more of an evangelistic approach. Like we're going to have to get, whether it's official influencers or just influential people in their local networks. But we're going to have to get people really on board and helping push it for real big growth, just because this is something that most of the marketing and end user demand creation is going to come from the internet. So everyone we can get to help, better. But this is also kind of difficult to answer because this is already an existing category. It's new technology in this category. So we'll need to be evangelistic about the technology, but it is already an existing category. So it's not your typical evangelistic type thing where you're having to start from almost scratch. This is people everywhere, well, maybe not everywhere, but most people are pretty comfortable with their air conditioning system, how it works. And so far through interviews, the majority of people have some problems in their houses with hot spots, cold spots, whatever. Very few. So one of the original ideas was so people could have different temperatures in their individual rooms. Been surprised by how few people care about that as much, because that's just through my personal experience. That has been another big thing. Well, I say personal. My personal friends, I have personal experience of hearing friends who have roommates argue over what the thermostat should be set at. And they're like, wish your rooms could be separate. But there's not as many people, so I don't know if that's a fluke or I'm just not running across the right people when doing interviews. But anyways, marketing campaign. So as I mentioned with how to create end user demand, these kind of blend in together to me a little bit. But the marketing campaign will be more education and informational based, but with a clear emotional connection. So we want to focus on the emotions, the frustration people run into with these situations, or the discomfort that they have, but tie that into the information. So you get a little bit of both. You get the logic so people can feel good about it and they can justify the sale to themselves, but you still need that emotional hook, emotional grab, whatever it is. You want to grab them and make them want it more than just a logical thing, because perfect example, in America, everyone knows logically that you need to exercise and eat right and be healthy, but sometimes it's not what feels good to do. You don't want to do it. You don't feel like getting up early to go to the gym or anything. So that's why I wanted to tie a lot more of the emotions to it. So give them the logic so they feel good, especially for somebody who has the majority of people who has limited funds and has to make decisions about where those funds go. Maybe even they have a roommate or a spouse or family that they have to get on board with them. If you tie in the emotions along with the logic, there's a much better chance that you will get the sale than if you just throw out logic. And that's a little bit of personal experience too, because being an engineer, it's frustrating at first coming out of school. I would talk to people and I'd be like, well, we really need to do it this way because, and I'd list out a whole bunch of logic, and surprised how many people in the business world are totally emotion driven and like logic is worth almost nothing to them. And I've seen that. I try to observe people too. So I've seen that a lot in more personal lives too. It's not just in business or anything. So I think that combination of the two is going to be critical in the marketing campaign. I don't have a whole lot of details on the marketing campaign beyond what I kind of already mentioned about how to create the end user demand. And the web channels is just going to be, it seems like at this point, it's going to be very heavily web focused for now, just given the nature of the product and what it does, how it affects people's lives. It doesn't seem like it's going to be worth it to do some small localized thing. Not long term. As a startup, yeah, definitely do something local in Pensacola. So I'd do some maybe some local magazines or local events or something. I don't know. I don't know where it would really fit in an event, but maybe I don't remember the name of it. But I've been to a few silent auction things downtown, so maybe you can throw something in there, and it's kind of passively gets a lot of people exposed to it. So I guess there might be some kind of places for events, but more than likely it would be all web-based and stuff. So I would have to learn a lot on that, because I know logically people can do great things using the web as their primary channel and primary marketing tool, but I'm not that in the know. It's kind of ironic. Electrical engineer, and I'm one of the least technically inclined people in the world. Like, I can make it just about anything, but if you give me a computer that exists and you're like, hey, this doesn't work, why not? I'm like, I don't know, take it to Geek Squad or something. So still not up to speed where I should be, especially for the online marketing campaign or anything. But don't know about the actual implementation. But that's the general strategy of it, is informational, but with the emotional aspect to it included to help hit that. So value propositions did not change this week, but there's a little bit of a change in focus on the customer relationships. I split out social media from, like, it was social media and television. Those are definitely split out. Social media is going to be a much bigger thing, I think, along with online groups and more interaction there. Beyond that, I think it's mostly the same. Included the education and key activities, as well as a feedback loop of customer satisfaction and requests. So it was one of those things that I knew I needed to do, but for some reason I didn't notice till I started working on this week's business model canvas that I didn't actually throw it in there. But constantly trying to keep in touch with customers. We do this all the time at my full-time job, is not just customer satisfaction surveys, but in conversation. The sales guys have been trained to talk to customers, and I do it as an engineer. Whenever I do site visits or something, I'll talk to customers, and I kind of drop little hints here and there without getting them excited about a product that doesn't exist yet. Just be like, well, I see how this is going, and I see where your problem is. What about this right here? Is this, oh yeah, that's a problem too. Okay, so what if is there a way you can connect these two? And then they'll be like, no, but it would be amazing if we could. And I kind of do stuff like that to get feedback loop without being too overtly obvious about it, because people want to be nice too. So sometimes I've had people agree that, oh yeah, that's a problem, when it really isn't. And when it came down to it, they actually never even bought anything. They just wanted to almost just be nice. So that would require some training of some people. And me, I'm not an expert by it. I just know like a small handful of tricks. But that's really it. So looking forward to seeing all y'all's videos, and I guess another week down, another week closer.